When Father Serra and his little band of Franciscan fathers entered California in 1769, they were delighted to find wild grapevines festooning the trees that grew along the creeks and riverbeds, for it proved that California was the natural home of the vine. They knew they would be able to grow domestic vines and make wine for sacramental purposes. The first vines were set out by Father Serra in the garden of the initial mission founded at San Diego in July 1769. We don't know whether the cuttings came from Mexico City or from Spain, but at any rate, the vines flourished, and as each new adobe house of worship was established, vines were planted in the gardens. By the time the 21st mission was established, as far north as Sonoma, there was a considerable acreage of this hardy black grape variety growing in California. It came to be known as the Mission grape, and for 100 years was the only variety extensively cultivated in the Golden State. There are still reminders in California of those first plantings. At San Gabriel near Los Angeles is the famous Trinity vine, which is said to be over 150 years old. It is still bearing good crops of purple grapes, and thousands of tourists visit this venerable vine each year. One of the most important of the missions founded by Father Serra was the mission at Santa Clara. It was destroyed by fire, but has been replaced by a new structure, which is one of the interesting buildings in the grounds of the University of Santa Clara. There, year by year, are graduated throngs of eager students who are trained for the work of the world. The old vineyard is now a beautiful garden. At Mission San Jose, 14 miles north of the city of San Jose, another old adobe mission church still stands. It is not used now, and the vineyard is gone. As late as 1889, the original vines planted by the Franciscan fathers were to be seen, but they became diseased and were taken up. They were not renewed, as the sisters of the Dominican convent who now owned the property felt that winemaking was an industry better suited to men than women. Today, over a century and a half after the beloved Serra brought the vine and civilization into the state, the Mission grape has almost disappeared. Out of the 200,000 acres of wine grapes in California, it is doubtful if there are 2,500 acres of this variety in the state now. Here is one of the most beautiful vineyards in the state. It is located at Madrone in the fertile Santa Clara Valley, not far from the missions you have seen, and is the property of B. Cribari and Sons. The history of this organization is a fascinating story. The elderly gentleman in the center is Benjamin Cribari himself, founder of the House of Cribari. To the left is his oldest son, Fiore. To the right, a younger son, Anthony. There is still another son, Angelo, who heads the firm's operations in New York City. The Cribaris have planted all of the finest varieties of European wine grapes for the production of quality dry and sweet wines, and their 800 acres of vines are given the very best care. Look at those lovely golden chasselas, the basis of their Rhine wines. Delicate semillons used in making sauternes, and these marvelous Burgundy grapes that produce a rich ruby wine. Besides this beautiful stretch of emerald loveliness, the House of Cribari own hillside vineyards in San Benito County. Down in the San Joaquin Valley near Fresno, they have an immense plant surrounded by vines where their popular Las Palmas sweet wines are made. In September and October, the pickers are busy harvesting the immense crop of grapes. The berries are carefully picked into boxes, loaded on trucks, and hauled to the crusher. The winery is located on the main highway that runs between San Jose and Gilroy. Paralleling this much-traveled thoroughfare is the railroad, giving the House of Cribari handy transportation to any part of the country. Huge tank cars convey the wine from Fresno in the San Joaquin Valley to the Madrone plant and to the New York warehouses. The grapes on arrival at the winery are dumped into conveyors that take them to the crusher. When Benjamin Cribari began making wine in 1904, his first production was 1,000 gallons of dry wine. All through Prohibition, the plant was enlarged, for they did an excellent business in sacramental and medicinal wines. Today, the capacity of the plants at Madrone and at Fresno total 3.5 million gallons. In one season, 20,000 tons of grapes are crushed. The wineries are the last word in modern machinery and equipment. The Zinfandel, Carignan, Muristel, Matereau, Cabernet, Burgundy, and Allemand grapes are used for the dry red wines. Some of these varieties also go into their port. Muscat grapes are the only variety used in their Muscatel wine. Palomino grapes are crushed for their sherries, and Sauvignon Vert, Tramina, and Riesling help to make Cribari dry white wines superior. The juice is pumped into 20 reinforced concrete fermenting tanks that are equipped with cooling coils for temperature control. Every phase of the winemaking is scientifically controlled, and the result is a fine, even fermentation. If you have never seen the must fermenting in a modern winery, you have missed an interesting sight. In fermentation, the sugar in the grape is converted into alcohol. When the fermentation is at its height, the tank looks like a seething, bubbling lake. The dry red wines are fermented on the skin, which contains the red color pigments, while dry white wines are either fermented from the juice of black grapes without the skins or from white grape varieties. The new wine is pumped to cool cellars where it can be handled easily. Later, it is transferred to huge tanks. After the wine has aged, it is ready for bottling. Everything in this department is done by automatic machinery, and it is surprising how quickly the bottles are filled, corked, and labeled. When they have had their final dress, they are transported on the conveyor to the department where they are packed in cartons or boxes to be shipped to all parts of the country. The dry wines, the clarets, burgundies, rieslings, and sauternes range from 10 to 13% in alcohol, while the sweet wines, sherry, port, muscatel, and angelica, after fortification, are from 20 to 22% in alcohol. The success of the House of Cribari is largely due to the fact that Mr. Cribari and his 3 sons have put out honest wines. Their family name is their greatest pride. Cribari wines are thoroughly aged before they are either bottled or shipped in tank cars or barrels to the big warehouses and storage terminal in the Starrett Lehigh building in New York. There you see the Sonny Boy sign going down the highway. You are looking at Sonny Boy Cribari, son of Angelo, whose smiling face is reproduced on the Sonny Boy brand labels. Large replicas of a bottle with a Sonny Boy label are used as signboards and are sprinkled along the highways all over California. We are now in the sampling room at Madrone, where customers are able to taste the various San Benito, St. Clair, Sonny Boy, and Las Palmas brands of dry, sweet, and sparkling wines made by B. Cribari and Sons. The Cribaris believe that California wine should be judged by their merits today and not by their pre-prohibition reputations. Since repeal, their wines have been awarded the highest recognition at home and abroad. Here is a gold medal diploma they received in Paris in 1935. Here's another they won in London in 1934. And here is still another that was received for Cribari wines placed in competition at Florence, Italy. But perhaps the decoration that Mr. Cribari prizes most of all is that received from the King of Italy. It was presented to him recently by the Italian Consul at San Francisco in recognition of his outstanding achievements. The other day, Mr. and Mrs. Cribari celebrated their golden wedding anniversary when they were showered with good wishes by hundreds of friends and relatives who called to pay their respects. With the beautiful San Benito extra dry champagne naturally fermented in the bottle, I want to offer a fitting toast. Here's to you, Mr. Cribari. Here's to your health and your happiness. May you continue to be blessed with the loyal support and the cooperation of your 3 stalwart sons who are a credit to you, to the House of Cribari, and to the wine industry of California. For he's a jolly good fellow, he's a jolly good fellow, he's a jolly good fellow, which nobody can deny.